What's up YouTube, this is GalacticGod, and apparently I've been tagged by Vexicus in this game of YugiTuber Tag. I guess basically what I need to do is answer these 7 questions and then tag 2 YugiTubers at the end, and then they need to answer the 7 questions and then tag 2 YugiTubers and go so forth and so on down the line. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and get into it and answer the first question. What is your real first name? Well, my real first name is Kenneth or Kenny. I go by either, so either one is fine. Question number 2. How did you get into Yu-Gi-Oh? Well, I used to be into this game called HeroClix way back in the day when I was super into comic books. I kind of transitioned from that over into the game HeroClix, which is kind of like these collectible figurines. It's kind of similar to Yu-Gi-Oh in a way where they have certain figures that are harder to get than others, and then you use those figures to play a game. From that, I had a buddy that came over one day with a bunch of Yu-Gi-Oh cards and wanted us to try them out, and me and Gimbleton, who's also another buddy of mine, tested out these Yu-Gi-Oh decks, and he kept bringing more and more decks over and over again for us to test out and try, and eventually it kind of led into me buying my own cards and building my own decks, and kind of snowballed from there into just collecting Yu-Gi-Oh outright and into everything that you see today. Question number 3. How or why did you start YugiTubing? I guess I first heard about YugiTubing from a buddy of mine who told me that trading online for Yu-Gi-Oh cards had kind of transitioned from forum boards over into YouTube. And he told me people would essentially make videos of the cards they had and kind of scan over them. And I thought that was kind of interesting, but it wasn't something that I was really interested in doing because I wasn't trading as much. By that time, I'd kind of transitioned into buying bulk cases of Yu-Gi-Oh! And eventually my buddy had came back to me and said that he'd been watching a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh! Duels online, and that he thought I might enjoy watching people actually duel. And at first I was kind of like, why would I want to watch someone else duel? That seemed kind of weird to me. But he was like, well, you watch people play poker on TV all the time, and I was like, that's a good point. I do watch other people play cards. So I gave it a shot, and I watched some Yu-Gi-Oh! Duels on YouTube, and from there I kind of watched pack openings and blog videos, started seeing everything that there was to do in the community of Yu-Gi-Oh! And I kind of noticed that although there was a lot of pack openings and some box openings, I had not really seen very many case openings at all. And since I was doing that in real life, I thought it might be kind of interesting to record that and show that to people, because I thought viewers might find that kind of interesting, seeing massive amounts of Yu-Gi-Oh cards opened at once. And that was kind of how I first got into it. I just kind of wanted to record the cases that I opened and put them up there, to let people see what that was like, since that wasn't a really standard thing. And then from there, my first videos was a case opening, and then I kind of transitioned from that into making other kind of videos as well. Question number 4. What is the best time you ever had at a Yu-Gi-Oh event? I'm going to go back quite a few years. This is I think going to be during the GOAT control format, if I'm not mistaken, because we had the Unholy Trinity to use during this time. A bunch of my buddies and myself went down to the Anaheim Regionals at the Anaheim Convention Center, and we were, just going throughout the day, dueling and whatnot. And my friend had been a big fan of J Kim, or J Love from Pojo, however you want to say him. And he had come across him at the actual event, and he was like, I want to try and duel him. I want to see if he'll duel me. And he kind of went over to J Kim and was like, hey man, I'm a big fan of yours. I've read all your articles all over the place, and I wanted to be able to duel you. And J Kim was like, oh, that's very cool, and this and that, and talked to him for a second. He's like, I don't really feel like dueling right now. And my buddy was like, well, I really want to do this. What about if we duel for cards or something? And then J Kim was like, duel for cards, you say? And he's like, yeah, I'll put up my Dark Magician of Chaos for any card you want. And he's like, any card I want? And he's like, yeah, whatever. And so J Kim's like, okay, yeah, we can duel. And my buddy was like, all right. And he sat down to duel with J Kim, and oh my gosh, it was like a disaster. It was like J Kim had cleared his field, had summoned a Donzalug and a Spirit Reaper, and then flipped over Robin Goblin and freaking was attacking him and taking all of his cards out of his hand. And my buddy was like, oh my god. And then at the end, J Kim was just kind of like, alright, that's game. Thanks for the DMOC. And my buddy was like, alright, cool, thank you, J Kim. And we kind of walked away, and then we all kind of laughed at him quite a bit, and it was just kind of a cool moment to have him kind of go over there and you know, meet the guy that he really was a fan of, and he actually got to duel him, and then we all got to rib him for you know, losing so hardcore and losing his DMOC, and it's something we still kind of jab at him to this day. Question number 5. What is your most favorite deck? I'd have to say that have to be Crystal Beast. Although it is not very competitive or tournament worthy, I find the Crystal Beast engine to be you know, extremely fun to play and extremely fun to use. And whenever I'm not being real competitive or being in a tournament, I love going back to Crystal Beast decks, and I love playing them. It's probably my all-time favorite deck. Question 6. Why do you play Yu-Gi-Oh? I think I play Yu-Gi-Oh because it's fun. There's a collectible aspect to Yu-Gi-Oh that I find very entertaining. It's very fun to be able to go out and collect these things. I used to come from a comic book background, so I used to collect comic books and all that. And I like being able to collect it. I like being able to play it. I like, you know, the social aspect that it brings. I like being able to make YugiTubing videos now. Overall, I just really enjoyed the game. Question number 7. Who are your 2 tagged YugiTubers? Well, the 2 YugiTubers I'm going to tag are MechaJaeyun and StarstrikeDuelist. I shall have links to them in annotations somewhere on the screen. So if you guys could, please go to their channels, leave comments on all their videos, send them messages in their inbox, let them know they've been tagged by GalacticGod and that they need to make the next video. And I guess that's it for now. This is GalacticGod.